Yeah. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Oh. The second we went live, I have officially lost Ben. Ben is going to be here as soon as he gets back. But howdy, everybody. For anybody who's out there, I am Corey. We are Everybody's a Mimic. We are an actual play D&D 5th edition webcast, not podcast, playing Rime of the Frostmaiden, Icewind Dale. And today we're going to be doing a one-on-one session with Ben, who plays Levi, the shirtless barbarian. And during our session, we are going to be playing Guess That Monster. Ben is going to probably absolutely destroy me because I'm the epitome of a rule of cool kind of DM in that I don't know very much. And that is why I am rule of cool. So, yeah. Ben, you here with us?
I am now.
Yes.
I think everything has been reset, and I think we're in good shape.
Good.
So hopefully no more connectivity issues. Hey, listen. Also, rule of cool is the best way.
It is. It is totally the best way. But when it comes to knowing D&D trivia, everyone's going to be like, man, that DM knows nothing.
That's what the books are for. That's why you have them on hand.
Right.
When you need them.
Exactly. I can... what? I'm trying to find the pinned message from all the questions. But let us start real quick. To get it started, before we get into the Guess That Monster, we're just going to do some introductions. So, Ben, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who you are.
Where to start?
Probably with your
My
name.
name's Ben, obviously. Yeah, Ben. That's the easy part. I have been playing D&D for about 4 years since I was in college. I've been playing... I've played a couple different characters. I've played Dragonborn Sorcerer. He was my first one. His name was Emry. One of my favorite characters, Baron, who was a half-elf cleric rogue hybrid multi-class, which was very interesting. I have another character that I'm very much in love with. His name is Nexus. And I now have Levi, who I love dearly, and I can't wait to move on with his story and just kind of blow that up. See how it goes.
Yeah. So, like many characters or players in our campaign, they've all played with me in a variety of other campaigns, and 3/4 of our players are currently still playing with me in our Everon campaign that we do weekly. And Nexus, unfortunately, Nexus died. Whenever I played your character, he just decided that he wanted to go the route.
You rolled horrible.
He did not roll very well.
We'll have to figure out what the ramifications of that are. But
yeah. Well, see, in character, he decided that he wanted to be just like the headless, the mummified head, and so he just chopped his own head off, thinking that it would be the same.
And you know what? I'm just gonna say that sounds so on brand for Nexus.
It does. Nexus is always really smart and thinks everything through, and then had that idea, and everyone else in the party was cheering him on. They really just wanted to see you go for it, not go.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, but enough about that. Let's stick to this campaign. So yeah, tell me more about your first character, your Dragonborn Sorcerer. Paladin? Sorcerer?
He was just a sorcerer. It was my first foray into D&D, and I thought I would go big and make a dragon.
So dragon ancestry, sorcerer.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm new to D&D. What sounds really cool? I mean, dragons is in the title, so I've got to make a dragon that's a dragon, and I'll call it a dragon. So yeah, we made it nice and far in that campaign. He was really cool. He actually ended up being kind of a tank. I ended up making him specialize in touch spells.
Okay.
And I found every way to boost his AC that I could.
Yeah.
Using a combination of magical items and different spells.
Mm-hmm.
That reaction cast shield was awesome. We had made it up to level... I think when we ended the campaign, it was level 16.
Oh, wow.
Is where we were at. So he had wings,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to the dragon ancestry sorcerer. But yeah, he was just an all around kind of a badass. He was giant. He had big muscles, but he was a sorcerer, so he didn't have a lot of HP. But hitting him was the problem.
Right.
So
Right.
It
Yeah.
was a good time.
A reaction cast shield. Did it use spell slots? I mean, I guess at higher levels, you have so many of those lower spell slots. Anyways, it's fairly easy. Ben is frozen. Hey, Ben. You guys get to look at my beautiful face. Change my lighting up. I can go from nice and lit to kind of grungy to nice and lit again. Yep, he's back. He dropped him back. Ben, it might be... Yeah. There we go. Hey.
Yeah. It was really, really weird. I don't know what's going on.
It's okay. We'll figure it out. Or we'll struggle through it like we do everything else. I don't think I think only Rachel and Blake have never had any issues with connectivity.
I can't tell if it's probably me.
Yeah, you're still frozen on stream. If it might help if you just drop your video. Might take a lot less broadband, internet, coins, the goo that flows through the internet that allows us to connect to each other. Magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna take this. We're gonna take this one step at a time.
Oh, it's okay, people. I could have swore I had. There it is. So while Ben figures out what he's doing, I'm going to continue to show you guys this amazing. I'm going to plug it once again. Plugged it last time in, I think it was Carson's 101. This is 3D printed Mimic Dice Tower. Pretty snazzy. It is from the Etsy shop of when dinosaurs attack. I want to confirm that it actually is when dinosaurs attack. It might be not when dinosaurs attack. Here we go. It is from when dinosaurs attack. I got it right. Look at that. He does a lot of stuff. He does not only this mimic dice tower, which sounds amazing when you roll it. Strikes absolute fear into the players when they hear those physical dice, knowing that since we play on Roll20, most of the players in the party get to they already see what I'm rolling. I don't really do a lot of GM rolls, not only for for their sake, but for you, the viewer's sake. But when you hear those physical dice, that means it's something bad and a surprise. But when dinosaurs attack is, we're not sponsored by them. I'm just taking my time to show you guys such an amazing work. The guy worked with me on the color. He has a lot of other items out there, and from mugs to dice holders to lots of other towers in a variety of colors. Some of his stuff is even metallic, which is really cool. And hopefully I'll get around to painting this mimic to actually be a mimic, and maybe I'll get a bookshelf behind me and have this thing looming over me in the meantime. But Ben, you are muted if you're talking, but if you're still solving your connectivity issues, that is more than fine. So yeah, we have our next session coming up, March 27th, 9:30 a.m. Many people are probably thinking, why would I want to get up early in the morning to watch D&D? And then that is when I say that they're just not true believers if they don't want to replace their Saturday morning cartoons with Saturday morning D&D. We're fun. We're exciting. It's a great way to start your day. And you can always watch us later on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Everybody's Mimic. But Twitch is where it's at. We want you to get out there and make us Twitch famous so that we can buy a big mansion and do it up like those esports teams where they all live together and all they do is all we would do is D&D all the time a 24/7 D&D live stream would be insane. We'd probably get to level 20 fairly quickly. Never actually DM'd anything over level 14, including both like one shots. My Tomb of Annihilation, we ended up I think around 12 or 13. I have plans to extend Rime of the Frostmaiden a little bit longer, but that's mostly because I'll be kind of adding some extra stuff in between. And while I do plan on taking the book in more of a milestone approach, I want to make sure that even if we get extra adventures in, they get opportunities for extra experience, we want to make sure that our players are rewarded for that going on. So even though it's milestone, we can just add more milestones, and that of course means that we'll be bumping up the end game monsters too, and seeing how that goes. Maybe have something really dangerous come out and attack Icewind Dale. So yeah, all right, it looks good.
Well, I am back. I have switched computers. This one seems to be working better. I know what my tax refund is going to get me.
Yeah.
A new gaming laptop, because mine is officially Dunskies.
Yeah. Costco has some really good deals on that. They had a pretty good one that I was looking at. I also have a crap top. I got a Microsoft Surface because I was like, I'm gonna draw a lot, and I really want that pen. And then I tried to write on it, and my writing, of course, is just horrendous. So I'm just like, I'd rather just use a piece of paper, I'm just like drawing over my notebook, and just like, this is just not the same. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try to trade that in and buy a better laptop, because it's just
Makes sense.
Yeah, but I thought, speaking about tax refunds there, I thought that I was going to have some money coming back. And no, turns out having a baby does not mean that you automatically get money back on your tax refund, because I owed $87. It's not a lot, it's not like we owed a lot of taxes, but was very upset for the first time in my life to owe taxes to the government. Now I understand. I'm officially libertarian.
But the good news is now that you have had a baby, you qualify for a whole bunch of new stimmies. So
that's true. That is true. But they all got eaten up in the tax, because we owed, turns out, a lot of taxes into like the stimulus check that we would have gotten for her. The $600 and the $1,800 was pretty much eaten up by my taxes, or maybe it's on the way. I'm not quite sure. Taxes are very confusing. I just let I let the programs do the work and assume that it's doing right.
Just let the people like us handle it. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to do my taxes? I would love to. I already submitted them.
Honestly, maybe next year we could probably sit and look at them together.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's always been. It slowly has gone down, just throughout the years. Just getting less and less. And then my mother-in-law's over here getting like $2,000 back on top of her stimulus, and she's like, "Yay, money!" And yeah, so all right, we're getting off track here. Let's get my messages back up, or my questions right back up here. So we talked about who you are, but let's talk about Levi.
Right.
Who is Levi? Who is this gentleman? Why does he not wear a shirt?
What a man!
I know. Yeah, what a man.
So Levi is okay. So let me preface this by what inspired me for Levi, because I think that kind of gives the view, it'll kind of tie in. So I'm a big anime fan. I watch a good amount of anime.
I can tell you have a Haikyuu. Is it Haikyuu, the volleyball poster?
Haikyuu, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Haikyuu poster back there. But I do watch a decent amount of anime, and so I had never played like a lawful good character.
Mm-hmm.
And so with Icewind Dale being a horror campaign, I was like, wouldn't it be fun and wild if I made a lawful good character and then try to navigate through this world? And what's like more lawful good than All Might, right? From My Hero.
Oh, I mean, that is yeah.
So I am a big fan of All Might. Also, I watch Seven Deadly Sins, and so the shirtless portion kind of comes from Escanor, who's my favorite sin. and that man just can't wear shirts because he just tears out of them. So, so that's where the Levi's inspiration comes from.
I'm surprised. I want to plug in here a second. I'm surprised you didn't say, I should stop saying, the Fist Gentleman from Full Metal Alchemist.
That too. I'm not a fan of his mustache.
But I mean, like, when you talk about like somebody who cannot wear shirts, I swear, anytime that guy he's just like, yeah, let me just rip my shirt off for no reason, and obviously
sometimes you just gotta do it.
Yeah, just gotta do it. Just flex those muscles to bust that shirt. God,
exactly.
Could you imagine to be able to tear a shirt to shreds by just?
That would be a vibe. If I could get to that point, I would be very happy with myself. So.
You could barely walk. You couldn't walk through any doorways.
No, none of the doors in Austin. That's for sure. Because like the closets and the bathroom doors are always skinnier than the regular doors. I don't know why that is, but
saves money, I guess. Those are all the failed doors. They forgot to cut them the right size, and they're like, throw them in the closets.
Clearly, but yeah. So that's kind of where the inspiration for Levi came from. And then in terms of D&D mechanics, he is a Highlander human from the directions from the Western Isles, the Bunche Isles, in Faerun.
Okay.
So the Highlanders are originally from the north, whether that's from Icewind Dale or whether that's from further north, has never, as far as I know, been directly stated. But they are used to the cold. They're very adept with fishing and being out on the water. So it's just kind of, the cold is kind of, I feel like, bred into him.
Right.
So the need for shirt is just lost on him.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was very, because like when you really think about it, when we were playing Roll20 and you have your character, it's kind of small. But I can just imagine, like, when we play in person, you come in there with some miniature that's painted with these abs on him, and everyone's just like, "Hey, I never noticed because you don't wear a shirt." Like, no shirt there, sir.
No. Yeah, Levi is a no shirt man. No shirt, just cloak.
No shirt, just cloak. And it's a tiny cloak at that too. It's not even a big cloak. It's a tiny cloak.
No, it like goes down to like maybe his knees.
Maybe his knees. I guess, yeah. When you typically look at cloak, it's like all the way down to the ground. But yeah, no. Yeah. Kind of just like trying to wrap it around. Your abs are never covered up.
Never, ever.
Never. Can't even. It's against your religion as a barbarian.
Yeah, no wonder the town elder didn't want him anywhere near the speaker position.
Yeah, we were talking in Blake's 101, in my mindset of how was I role-playing Granny looking at the players. Of course, there's a little bit of D&D racism going on with the orc and the Goliath. And then looking at your Levi, she was just like, he's not, a screw is loose in there. If he's out here, not only in Icewind Dale, but in Icewind Dale during an everlasting winter, where it's even more cold, and just walking around with no shirt, And as far as Granny's concerned, you just came out of the woods, Like, I never really touched on that, but you weren't part of the group in the beginning, so they just kind of either saved you or you just wandered around.
Yeah, I just for some reason I met this group and now I'm like big chilling with them. But there's like no reason why I should be there theoretically. Yeah, according at least to her. Right?
The person you were hunting down died, and you're just like, all right, well, I'm an adventurer, so I'm gonna join you guys. That's how it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
You just gotta find work where it is. So, let's before we get on, let's do our first round of Guess That Monster. All right. So we have 6 questions, but we're on the second question, so we're gonna do 2 Guess That Monsters, so from each of us, and then we'll ask another question. So, who wants to go first?
You can describe first, and I'll guess first.
Okay.
While I see the first page.
All right. So, just a little bit about it is we're gonna do Guess That Monster. basic points. You get it right, you get 1 point. And then if you can't get it on the base description, there's hints that go along, but it'll still just be a 1 point for getting it. I'm describing these as if I was, kind of dungeon mastering for a player, I guess, but it's also more so like you're reading a book, like reading a book from the point of view of the adventurer. That's how I'm describing it. So it's supposed to be like through the adventurer's eyes, because Ben, you're the adventurer here in this, and so you're trying to guess what it is. So, and I wrote it down because otherwise there'd be a lot of ums and ahs, and I forgot where I go and what is this monster and such. So here we go.
Fair. First
one. Let me get my microphone, my creepy voice. Your footsteps echo through the dank cave, but they are not the only sounds you hear. As you raise your torch to see what is above you, your torchlight causes the ceiling to erupt in a swarm of webbed, fleshy wings and clawed appendages. They dive down in the dozens in a bloodthirsty flurry.
I hate all of that. Hey, I want none of that.
It's going to be funny because now that I've said all this stuff, and for the most part, almost every single one of the monsters that was suggested, and we're going off monsters that were suggested by other players in our group. So Rachel, Blake, and Carson sent these over to us. Almost every single one that I got on my list is in Icewind Dale. So just be ready for it.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. There's a lot of clawed.
There are. I mean, claws. You filter the monster handbook by claws, and I don't think you probably will add pages to it.
Yeah. So claws and wings don't really encase. Just like that's just kind of a D&D monster staple there.
Yeah, I know. It's
really
hard.
Giving me much to go on.
It's hard. If you want, I can. We got 2 hints for each one. The last hint, I kind of tried to make it a bit easier. All right. So groups of these monsters have been described as thirsts.
Also gross.
It is. This is a very obscure hint. Thirsts. Like how a crow is a murder.
Crows is a murder of crows.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
My wife the other day said that we didn't hit a crow, but we saw a crow on the. We were driving on I-45 going towards Highway 1, so there's a big kind of loop, and there's just a huge ass cloud. I would say it was a cloud of crows, and she joked, she's like, "You're about to murder that murder."
Heyo.
That's a good one. Anyways, yeah, got this. You can get. I think you can get this. You'd be surprised. I feel like a lot of people have encountered this, but at the same time, it's still also. There's so many monsters in D&D that you can play countless adventures.
I feel like I can picture it in my head, but now the name is escaping.
All right, I'll give you the last.
Horrendous.
I'm going to give you the last hint right here. They are a mix between a large bat and a mosquito.
That is exactly the monster I was picturing. And again,
well, you gotta know the name.
Its name is just not coming to the forefront of my mind. But I know the second you say it, I'm gonna want to shoot myself in the foot.
All right, do you give up?
Which is horrible. I do.
Okay. Well, Ben's score stays at 0 when he is unable to guess the Sturge. Yep.
Yep.
Most people don't think of it, but then you say Sturge and you're just like, yeah, I know that monster.
Yeah, it also kind of looks like one of those, almost like a mole rat, kind of like its face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with a nice little long whatever that thing is.
Exactly. A proboscis.
Yes. I was looking at what kind of sounds they make, and in the D&D wiki it says they move their proboscis to signal to other people, other Sturges that there's prey nearby. I'm just like, okay, so I guess it doesn't make any sound. Maybe it shrieks or shrills. So
I've always imagined it kind of makes a weird scuffling slurpy sound in a weird gross way.
Could you imagine just getting attacked and these things just cover you and then it's just a
yeah. No. I would prefer not to.
all right
Not a fan.
So let's see what what do you have for me here?
All right. Of course, like my preparation was to look at the monsters and come up with some form of description in my head, but I wasn't smart enough to write them down. So I'll go with this. As you walk through the forest, you come to a clearing, and surprisingly enough, the mist seems to coalesce and slowly get tighter and tighter around itself before it creates the silhouette of a massive, seemingly humanoid entity with pale skin and sharp fangs.
Shit. At first you said mist, and I was like, vampiric mist. And then you said it coalesced into a person, and I'm like, well, there goes that. Okay, so a mist that coalesced into a humanoid with pale skin and sharp fangs. I don't think doppelgangers have sharp fangs. And when you said pale skin, I was like, cloud giant, but I don't think they coalesce with sharp fangs. So I'm gonna need that hint. I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna guess this.
So, let me see. A good hint. These are very intelligent creatures who love to gamble. So they're probably fairies?
I think there's a fairy that wears a mat, like a false facer. No. They love to gamble. So it could also be a devil that's going to give you a good deal. A hat. Is it a hag? Is it one of the Is it a hag?
It is not. And here's my third.
Yeah.
You've already said it.
I've already said it?
Yeah.
Wait, I've already said the name of the monster? What? Okay, so is it a vampiric mist? Is it a doppelganger?
No.
Is it a cloud giant?
It is.
It is?
Indeed a cloud giant.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Did you know that they can like transform into like mist and fog?
No. I mean, I assumed like when you said like pale skin, because it reminds me of what's the one adventure that has giants in it? Elemental Evil?
Yeah, and then Storm King's Thunder, right?
Storm's King Thunder. And it has a cloud giant on the front. And it's kind of all misty and cloudy and very pale skin. So that's what my mind first went to. So, haha! Corey scores continues to stay absolute unit.
Done.
Wow. I did not. I'm so happy with myself. I was thinking I was going to go this whole time without guessing one. So, okay.
Yeah, no, I like when you said it, I was like, wow. But then you were like, no, I don't think that's it. And I was like, well, no, but give yourself a point because that was solid.
I'm glad for that. Yeah. All right, let's change absolute unit to just 1 because absolute unit is just not a score. There we go.
I mean, okay. Unit speaks for itself.
So this next monster, I have always known what it is because it has a very distinct name. But when I was reading the description, I was very surprised like with what it actually does and is. Like I always thought it was So, anyways, I thought it was a lot more dangerous than it was. You can take that as a hint if you want, but here we go. You and your let me get my.
I'll work on mine too after.
You and your fellow escapees rush through the tunnels of the Underdark, keeping ahead of your former drow slavers. While looking back, you lose your footing and fall down an offshoot tunnel, sliding on the slick rock deeper into the ground, until finally it levels out and you roll into a wall. Surprisingly, you can see inside this cavern, as there seems to be something glowing just around the bend. As you approach closer to get a better look, the light turns green and you lay eyes upon the light source, you feel relieved. So now that I'm reading this, I realize I only have 1 bit of description of the monster in this whole thing.
And that's all right. So I'm just going to go with a guess, and if I don't guess correctly, we'll go with a hint.
Okay.
Is it a will-o-wisp?
It is not a will-o-wisp, okay? So remember, you are in the Underdark, okay? And that's the fair. Character is relieved. So That narrows it down a little bit. There's not very many things in the Everdark that are make you feel like, oh, thank God. So, the next one. These creatures...
That is a good point.
These creatures are benevolent, but they can defend themselves with acidic appendages.
Oh.
I shouldn't say appendages. With acidic tentacles.
So how do we feel about tentacles, Corey, while we're here?
D&D tentacles is good. ANMA tentacles is not good.
Oh, okay. What's the tentacle spell? It's like a 4th level wizard spell.
Is it wizard or warlock?
It's like an area. I know it's definitely a wizard spell. It may also be a warlock spell. I know there's like Hunger of Hadar is one. But
yeah, that's what I was thinking is Hunger of Hadar. But I guess Hunger of Hadar is also like more like darkness. Like it's tentacles from the void.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll look it up. There's a wizard spell that like creates like a big square of just tentacles? Nasty tentacles.
That sounds. Is that in the player's handbook, or would that be something that came out?
It should be in the player's handbook. I believe it's a 4th level spell.
4th level. Yeah, that's a potential. That is a thing. I guess. Yeah.
I don't have my PHB right here with me.
I don't even own the PHB. Wizard 4th
Look at
level.
you. Let's see. I'm actually very curious.
It's not in Xanathar's. So yeah, look it up. I want to know. Is D&D related?
I'm Googling it.
Google.
Yeah, it's I think I've got it here. Hold on. Yeah, it's Conjuration. It's level 4 for wizard, and it's called. It's plainly titled, Evard's Black Tentacles.
Huh.
And squirming ebony tentacles fill a 20-foot square on the ground that you can see within range. For the duration, these tentacles turn the ground in the area into difficult terrain. When a creature enters the affected area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, the creature must succeed on a dex save or take 3d6 bludgeoning damage and be restrained by the tentacles until the spell ends.
Damn. That's strong. That's strong.
Yeah, and a creature that starts its turn in the area and is already restrained by the tentacles takes 3d6 bludgeoning damage.
That's even stronger. Because, like, some of them is like you only take damage as you move through it. So it's like you can sit inside and just wait it out. But you can't wait that spell out. I mean, and if you have a terrible dex, that's going to be... That's brutal. And you're restrained, too, so...
You can't do anything.
All right, are you ready?
That's why it's 4th level.
Are you ready for hint 2? Or
yes.
Okay. All right. So these creatures feed on psionic energy and can be found near Aboleth and Mind Flayer colonies.
See, so when you said tentacles, my first thought went to like Mind Flayers, but I've never met a benevolent Mind Flayer. I'll tell you that.
It is not them. No, they're largely ignored by Mind Flayers.
Same with Beholders. Beholders could have cool tentacles. But
you
not very benevolent.
You would not be relieved to turn around the corner and see a Beholder. That's the hard part. That's the key.
Definitely not.
When you really think about it, of all the creatures in the Underdark, what would you be happy to see?
Yeah.
And there's so many creatures in the Underdark, so it's kind of hard to even...
Yeah, that's tough. I think you've got me again, Corey.
Woo! You giving up? Throwing in the towel?
On this one, yeah, I'm going to have to.
All right, it is a flump.
I should have guessed that. I'm not going to lie, it did cross my mind. But I should have guessed.
A flump.
I should have thrown it out.
You just need to throw it out like me. Just say the names, and then just watch my face as like you nail on it. I'm just like, trying to get my poker face going. Okay, all right, hit me with the next one. Then we'll continue on and talk about Levi.
All right, let's see if I could get my my DM voice going here. As you walk down the dim lit path, you hear the slow clopping of hooves. And out of the fog, a smoke billows forth, and a black massive stallion emerges.
Nightmare.
Yes, sir. It's kind of hard to not get that one,
Yeah.
but yes.
And you know, the funny thing is like I wasn't even looking at D&D. My first thought was the Hearthstone card Nightmare. Like I was like World of Warcraft. I was like, that's a Warlock mount right there. Bam, man. All right, well, 2 for Corey. Woo woo, woo woo. All right, so I want to know the hints though. What hints did you have here? Oh, that's right. You didn't have...
My first hint was going to, if somehow you didn't get it there, my first hint was going to be that parts of its fur can ignite in fire.
Ah, so Ponyta and Rapidash. Should have guessed that.
And my second hint was that it is actually the way to summon or create a nightmare is to sacrifice a Pegasus.
I did not know that. That's kind of
you
cool.
sacrifice a Pegasus and you ritualistically rip off its wings to create a nightmare. It's horrible. Yeah,
it is a horrible ritual. I feel so bad.
I can read it to you. Hold on. Nightmares don't appear naturally in the multiverse. They must be created from Pegasi. The ritual that creates a nightmare requires the torturous removal of a Pegasus's wings, driving that noble creature to evil as it is transformed by dark magic.
Yeah, I mean, anybody would be pissed if you got your wings ripped off, you know? Yeah. What CR level is Nightmare? I feel like that's like a 5 to 7.
5?
5?
No, it's a challenge 3, actually.
3?
Challenge 3 on its own.
What is that?
But how often do you see Nightmare on its own?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know,
normally it has a really cool rider.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the things I was thinking it was going to be. I forget what the devil is. That is like a hell. It's I want to maybe it's a Hell Knight. The one creature, the one monster that can turn its foes, whoever it kills, into lemurs. Lemure. I want to say he rides on a nightmare. And so that's kind of what I thought. But then when you didn't describe a rider, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So
I am firmly of the opinion that when I started DMing a Strahd campaign a while back.
Oh,
and I am firmly of the opinion that when Strahd needs to make a point, he will ride out of Castle Ravenloft astride a nightmare. Like no fucks given.
I've been trying to get my hands on that, the revised Strahd, especially when they're coming now. The new book is gonna. I know, but I have to own it. I gotta own it.
That's fair.
Even though I
am gonna buy the new Ravenloft book.
Yes, of course. I was gonna go down to my local store, the one in Round Rock, Rogues Gallery, because I don't think they have they have a lot of books, but a lot of what they do is like comics and board games. And so I've came there and I've seen a lot of alternate covers just sitting on their shelves, and I've just like I wanted to go out. I want to go and get Candlekeep Mysteries, and then I want to get and make sure I get that Ravenloft alternate cover. And
I'm sad it doesn't come out till May.
I know. It's taken some time. Books, but they're going pretty quick though. I mean, we had one Candlekeep just released, and then another one in May. Like they're really pushing out their books quick now. But they're not doing as many adventures as they did when 5e first started. I mean, it was like adventure after adventure after adventure. Now they're like, well, everyone has all those adventures. Let's do more homebrew kind of small adventures that DMs can
like world building stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Let the DMs have more control on it, and maybe it's just because we're in the pandemic and we have a lot more time at home to put into D&D. So
maybe.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the books you used whenever when you were making Levi. So like did you get anything from Tasha's whenever you started? We aren't at the point where you're level 3, so you haven't been able to choose your subclass, but where you
we're at level 2. I am just mostly excited for Tasha's because it's really, really cool. It has a lot of new subclasses to use. I've already multi-classed Levi for anybody who's listened to the most recent episode.
That's right.
He started as a barbarian. He's taken a level in fighter. And so the first thing I got from Tasha's truly was when you take a level in fighter, you get to choose a fighting style. And I've given Levi the blind fighting style, which I think is just awesome to play with.
I know.
It gives you blind sight out to 10 feet, even in magical darkness. So he basically just closes his eyes, and he can see everything within 10 feet, including invisible creatures who don't successfully hide from him.
That's gonna be crazy. And it's I'm not gonna reveal too much, but it's gonna be very useful in Icewind Dale. You're gonna find invisibility, and not just invisibility, but like, you know, when you're out in a blizzard and say you're getting hunted by a yeti, he might not be invisible, but you're not going to be
low, yeah.
Right. You're not going to be able to see anything coming up on you, but you're going to have that, like, that moment of surprise. Yeah. 1 second.
Absolutely.
Yes. No, you did not. Oh, I did put Yes, I did. No. Yes, I ran it for 40 minutes at medium. Well, I turned it on.
So this is the part where Corey speaks to somebody off camera. I hope everything's okay.
I did not do the dryer right, so.
You've committed a crime.
I have. It is actually really. It'll be frustrating later because we'll have to, like, not rewash it, but it'll take even longer. It delays our laundry for even further. So, fun stuff.
Gotta be careful, Corey.
I know. Well, my wife always makes fun of me saying I'm a very literal person, to the point where, you know, I've on multiple occasions put clothes in the dryer or in the washer and just turned it on without adding any soap, because she just told me, "Can you put the clothes in the dryer and turn it on?" I said soap.
As somebody who has ADHD, I super vibe with that whole statement you just said.
Yeah.
Things that you do that involve steps often end up with a step missed in my book.
Yeah.
So.
It's like, I got to the end. And it looks good. Yep. But it was not the full steps. Yeah. No, yeah. Cooking.
Exactly. Yeah. I lost track of something on the way.
Cooking is always so hard. You know, you get down to the end of the recipe and you're like, I forgot to add this one major ingredient.
When you make the pasta sauce and you forget to make the pasta.
And just serve like a bowl of soup with marinara sauce and meatballs. So, besides Tasha, what else are you using for your barbarian? I mean, I guess let's talk. I know our next question is going to be, where do you envision your character going? But let's just kind of within this question, kind of skip a little bit forward and see what subclasses are you going to take. First, what's your first subclass going to be?
I think I'm going to level up his fighter class tree. Is what I'll call it. And I think I want him to take Battle Master, so that I can get those superiority dice going.
Oh yeah.
And those maneuvers rolling, because Tasha's has added some new maneuvers as well.
Yeah.
I believe
it's easily the best. I won't say it's easily the best fighter, but it's the one fighter subclass that's going to give you the most options. Like, it's truly.
Exactly.
It's just it's. I mean, it's like a fighter now has, like, spells to that point. You know, you get
almost without being an Eldritch Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You get those options, those the resources there, be able to kind of, suited to whatever you want. Now, of course, you're still restricted a little bit because I think you get like 3 maneuvers. 2.
I think something like that. I think you start with 2 or 3, and then as you level up, you acquire more.
You get some more.
Level up far enough. But yeah, so I think that'll be really cool, especially combined with Levi's ability to rage.
Yep.
So when he rages and then he does really cool Battlemaster stuff. I mean, he was a high-ranking soldier in the army of the Moonshade Isles before, so like I just feel like that makes sense.
Right. Things you picked up, and then you still have your natural, like, heritage rage from the Northerners.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why? And it just, like, it would be really hard to convince me that a man who can successfully wield a greatsword is like can't battle master it out. You know, like he isn't so refined that he has like the perfect technique.
Right. And I mean, yeah, like, you know, typically, you know, greatsword and great axe, while both two-handed weapons, are completely different. And it's really, I mean, it's represented a lot in like the way the dice is rolled in D&D. I mean, is a greatsword 2d6? That just shows you're more
2d6.
Yeah, you're more consistent on your damage. A 1d12 for your axe, you have those highs and lows with your battle axe, you know, and so it makes I get that. It's a great analogy there. So, all right, let's get back into Guess That Monster. I will go next, and this time I'm gonna try now to describe a situation for you based off of just by looking at the picture and kind of a little bit of what I had in my head. So we're going back into the Underdark here. The adventurers are kind of making their way through the dark, kind of hands walking, patting along the walls, and you step in something sticky and it stops. And you kind of, your torch or your light, or you reach down to feel for what exactly it is, and whatever you stepped in reaches back at you, grabbing onto you, wrapping around your arms, pulling you into the ground.
Pulling you into the ground.
Ground.
Right. Is it like a gray ooze?
It's close.
So you're gonna make me okay. Is it a black pudding?
It is a black pudding. Yes.
Okay.
In my mind, I kind of had this description of it, of like you're, almost like you're walking, and I should have known what this one is. Like you're walking through a tar field, and you step in one, and then like the tar just kind of reaches up. But I felt like if I said tar field, the first thing people would be like, "Oh, black ooze, black pudding." Like, that's that, you know. All right,
that's fair.
Ben on the.
I'm erasing black pudding off of my list, so I don't give you the same one.
So we.
That's a vibe.
Who did you get that from?
Let me find out. Hold on.
Is it Rachel?
It was Rachel.
Okay.
Did she give us the same list?
I hope not. Okay, there's one I didn't use. Did she, I don't want to say. We'll find out later if she did, because
yeah, we will. It's cool. It's cool.
It's okay. Rachel, if you're watching this, follow the rules.
We love you dearly.
Follow the rules, Rosemary. All right, your turn. See what you're doing.
All right. So
were you about to describe black pudding?
I was not actually. I opened to a different page, so it's cool. As you walk through the underground tunnels, you hear, at first, a chittering, and then perhaps more of a clacking. And as you turn the corner, you see a large, perhaps beetle-like creature with a thick carapace of chitin.
Hook horror.
No.
Oh, I thought it was. Is that not one of the? They are kind of insectoid though.
Horror kind of looks like a bird. It kind of looks like a bird though.
A bird? Oh yeah. Well,
yeah,
like
it has like the hooks on the edge of its head.
Go look for a picture of the hook horror. Hey, look, there's Nightmare. Okay, give me a hint here.
The first hint is as the creature turns to face you, its long antenna seem to reach toward you.
I'm almost not even. I'm fairly certain I know what it is, but I'm in the spirit of the game. I don't think I can answer it because I'm not guessing based off of what it is. I'm guessing based off of my list of monsters we were given to us. So
Aha. Okay, so we are in the same boat. Okay.
So
cool.
I'm gonna guess
I figured I would
is,
just get this one out of the way.
Is it a rust monster?
It is indeed.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it was. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. How about this? Because I definitely was unfair in that. Pick another monster. Your choice. Anything you want.
Anything I want.
I'm gonna pull something from like the 12th plane, the 12th level of hell.
No.
One of the Devil Lords from Avernus. Is it a Devil Lord? No, yeah, Devil Lords. Abyss is demons. Avernus is devils.
I think you're right. Let me.
I could be. I could not be. Gonna roll some dice.
All right.
The suspense is killing me.
All right. Instead of looking through the appendix, thank you. I could not remember this creature's name.
Instead of trying to find it.
I got it. I'm pulling up the right page, and then
Close my monster manual here to make sure I don't accidentally fall upon it.
Okay. This is one of my personal favorite monsters from D&D.
Is it a dragon?
No. I try to find a way to use it in almost every campaign that I DM, just because it's so fun to just kind of toss in there.
Okay. Interesting. Can see a look into Ben's mind.
Yes. As you are camped in the forest, perhaps some of your adventuring companions have fallen asleep, and you are left by the fire. And you hear what sounds like a scratch on a tree, and a dark shape, moves all too quickly just outside of your vision.
Damn. Okay.
Make a perception check, Corey.
Yeah, I know. Here we go. I got this. Let's put it here. Rolling my dice. I haven't inked these dice yet, an 8. But I am proficient in perception, and I'm a ranger, so I have like a plus 15.
Perfect.
I don't even know. You could probably get pretty high with perception.
You see a lithe, muscled form with 8 legs and 3 long, sharp antennae.
Fuck. Is it a hook horror?
It is not.
I was gonna say hag, but that was before you described antenna. 8 appendages. And 3 antenna. Now, is it a humanoid shape, or are we talking about more like insect, like centipede?
It's definitely not humanoid.
Okay. It's not a purple worm. It's too big. Doesn't have any appendages.
Worms don't really have appendages.
Is it a centipede? I mean...
No, it is not. Would you like your last hint?
I would like my last hint, yes.
You see a glint of fangs as it approaches you and prowls low to the ground.
A displacer beast?
Yes.
Oh, snap. That's like
Yes,
the panther with the freaking thing on top?
Yeah, and it can teleport.
Oh.
Basically.
Oh, snap. Those things are awesome.
Well, it can't teleport. It displaces. It does. It's basically like it always has cloak of displacement energy on.
Mm-hmm.
So it like creates illusory duplicates of itself.
Right. It has 8 legs? Does it have 6 legs and then the 2 thing?
No, it has like, I think it has at least 6 if 8 legs. I think it's 8 legs, like 4 sets of legs.
Go look at this. Let's look up Displacer Beast here in my monster manual. Man, I cannot believe I got that. Damn. Oh yeah. whew, go me.
Solid.
I'm so happy. I'm gonna have to like cheat to win. So
You're crushing it right now.
I know. All right, so we were talking a little bit about your battle master, but now let's look even further into the future.
Mm-hmm.
You're at whoever or whatever is the end game of Icewind Dale. I know, but I don't want to ruin anything. And what is Levi looking like? I mean, you're probably looking around 11 to 14, maybe even a little, probably 11 to 14 as your end goal, your level that you would be at this point. So.
Yeah, I imagine I'm going to take fairly large chunks of both Barbarian and Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And if, depending on how the party levels up, I would consider adding a tertiary class just to make your life horrendous.
I didn't know you could even multi-class a third time, but it makes sense.
I'm fairly certain you can.
Yeah, as long as you reach the prerequisites, then yeah, there's truly nothing stopping you. I mean, because it's just splitting all your stuff.
Depending on what we need.
I swear to God, if you pull out a bard, so you could have superiority dice and inspiration dice. Ooh, do they get?
I mean, hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, okay, if I would have to make an intense like RP decision in character to like explain how Levi, this dude who can't lie, that plays no instruments, how he could possibly be a bard.
You just find a ukulele and you're like, I am a bard now, which honestly tracks with Barbarian mentality.
That's fair, actually.
That
is true.
Maybe we meet a bard later on and Levi just becomes so enamored with them to the point where you steal his ukulele. You beat him up and steal his ukulele and you're just like, I'm the bard now.
He's lawful good, Corey.
The bard turns out to be evil, therefore it's okay to steal his ukulele.
Now it's okay.
Yeah.
Now it's okay. I will your power, you foul bard.
Well, maybe you don't steal it, but Del Nadre steals it for you, knowing like he really wants
there
this.
You go.
And then he just tells Levi that the bard really wanted him to have this. Yeah, it's a gift from the bard. He really wanted you, And I also gave him a gift, which was a dagger to the back.
There you go.
there you go.
Just like the speaker.
So, obviously, Barbarian, Fighter, or whatever other third class you want to make my life hard with, that sounds like you'd be right up in the thick of it. But I guess what is your role?
Yeah, that's kind of my plan.
Are you looking at more like to be a target based on attracting everybody, or be a target based on like are you going to force the enemies to attack you, or you can become such a threat that they want to attack you, or I feel like they have to attack you?
I think a combination of both, because we've kind of the funny situation that we've built ourselves in the party is Del Nadre is the only not massive character.
Mm-hmm.
Beta is a Goliath and is very large. Rosemary is a half-orc and is also very large.
Yep.
And by human standards, Levi is also very large.
Yep. And then you have Dell, who's like just this wiry character.
Mm-hmm. I've also envisioned, like, because of the way that the Barbarian Rage works, like, I've always kind of envisioned it like an Escanor situation where, like, if a Barbarian is large in the first place, and then when they rage, I just imagine, like, their muscles, like, all rippling out and them getting, like, bigger in size and stature for the duration of their rage.
Right, like a D&D version of Bane from Batman. Without him having to have the venom that like bulks him up even more, he gets that not the Dark Knight Bane, the what was that one Batman with George Clooney, Batman Returns?
I am not that deep into the DC lore. I will tell you the truth.
It's Batman and Robin, maybe. I don't know. There was a movie back. There was a movie where oh crap, what was her name? Haley. Not Haley Duff. Halle Berry? No, Halle Berry is who's the white? What's the white?
Catwoman, right?
Yeah.
Not Catwoman.
She was.
Yeah,
Catwoman.
no Catwoman.
Yes, but she was Catwoman in her own movie. Yeah. She played Poison Ivy. Her name was Halle.
I know not.
She was in 50 First Dates.
Oh, I do know of who you speak.
What is her last name? Hallie. I keep thinking Halle Berry, but I don't even know if I can get Halle right. Who was the woman in 50 First Dates? Come on, viewers, whoever's out there, let us know. I'm calling on you. I'm calling on you out. I don't want to Google it.
Let's see.
Mostly because I don't want it to mess up.
Are you talking about like the main girl? Drew Barrymore?
Oh my god. Yeah.
No wonder I couldn't get it. You had the whole a completely different name.
So yeah, Drew Barrymore played Poison Ivy in there. But that Bane was very much like he was a hulking guy, and then he had the venom just like in the comic book, and it's like a Barbarian in Rage, but more chemical. And very similar, to what you're describing, Escanor and All Might, where, but like even All Might, I guess. Yeah, I mean, like All Might, Levi's not so much as spindly as he is whenever he's not bulked up, but that process of bulking up is definitely very similar.
Right. So the way I would imagine it is have you seen My Hero?
Mm-hmm. Up until the time where, they go underground and the guy with the mask. I'm blanking on all the names.
Okay, so you've seen the more recent overhaul. Yeah, you've seen the more recent season.
Yes.
So one of the other characters, like his hero name is Lemillion.
Yes. Yes.
But his name is Mirio. So I imagine Levi like a Mirio type, like nice and shredded, and then like when he bulks up, like all type.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. That's very good description there. Yeah. What subclass are you planning on taking as a barbarian?
That's where I haven't decided. I truly haven't decided.
Yeah.
Because they're all so cool, and Tasha's has outdone itself.
Yeah. I really like the wild magic barbarian. I love RNG when it comes to like D&D, because I like the fact of, it's all fun to be min-maxer, but to have a min-max as well as being really fun, and I love the aspect of like so much is out of your hands whenever you rage, when it comes down to it.
And
but they're mostly beneficial. I'm fairly certain.
I very much agree. The wild magic barbarian is very much up there for me, because it's just so cool and it's new, and I just think it would be really, really fun to play because it's just all chaos.
Yeah.
Which I love. And Levi is not that Levi is put together. But Levi has a very strict idea of how the world is supposed to work.
Right.
And so giving him this wild magic BS will just bring a whole new dynamic to his character. And it kind of, I wouldn't say it makes sense, but based on some of the stuff in his backstory, it kind of tracks.
Oh yeah, I mean, like your lineage, you could have it back in there. It just could be part of like your people's lineage as well.
Exactly.
I can imagine, because you've used rage a lot outside of combat situations, mostly because I haven't thrown any combat at you guys in 2 sessions, which is
yeah. But to be fair, I like using the rage just to make him seem big and scary,
right?
Which is fun.
But then I think one of the things in Wild Magic Barbarian has you shoot a beam of light from your chest, and I could just imagine like you're like, let me just go, and then you just blow a hole through some poor innocent commoner's chest as this beam just your abs.
Yeah, like
just...
Levi, the first time, right after I take the subclass, right, he like does a really big flex, and he has no idea he has this power, and then he just like kills someone or something, and then has to deal with the guilt of that.
Yes, it just he becomes this point where he's a barbarian who doesn't rage because he's afraid he's going to hurt people.
Which is very possible depending on the results.
Oh, that's good. All right, let's get into this. Guess that monster. We are 1 to 3. We have 1, 2, 3 monsters left. If I'm not mistaken, 3 monsters left. So there's a good chance Ben has to get.
Yeah, you've gotten all 3, right?
I have gotten all 3.
So
yes.
You've gotten all 3.
I have to not get any more. So you gotta not pick hard ones, but maybe change up your description and make it a little lot more vague. Make it harder on me, man. And you got to get these next ones, and I can tell you that this one's gonna be kind of tough. It's this is good. All right, so here we go. With your back pressed against the tree, you quiet your voice. Your hand is clamped over the terrified villager that you are tasked with retrieving. Heavy footsteps break the silence, and the horrible stench wafts over you. You do your best to steel your stomach, but when the villager pukes through your fingers, you are unable to hold it back anymore. But luck is on your side. Just as you lean forward to empty the contents of your stomach on the ground, the tree explodes above you in a shower of splinters. The creature's sturdy weapon, which resembles a stout tree with sharp rocks stabbed through it, swings overhead. You fall back and gaze up into its 4 eyes, which looks down upon you with nary a thought behind them. Its heavy weapon poised to add your bodily fluids to its body's grime.
That's a really good description.
That's good. I put some time into that. That was a good one. Mostly because
a really good description.
Some of these, it's I looked at it. I went through the wiki and I read through each of them their wikis to not just like. This is the one thing with the Monster Manual is it gives you a description, but doesn't give you like the ecology, the habitat, like what they do. You don't get the full lore of each monster. And so I went on the wiki and they look pretty fun. I got some good hints for you though, but let's see if you can give it a shot.
So I know that there's a variation of troll that does nasty, but I don't remember if it's like a swamp troll or if it's like. I know it's not called poison troll because that would be too much. But like,
I can say
rock troll maybe.
It's not a troll, but you're in the right area.
Right.
I'm gonna give you this one hint. 2 heads are better than 1.
See, this is another one of those that I'm envisioning, and I know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yet the name is, I'm on the struggle bus.
The names are hard.
With the name.
There are just so many monster names in D&D. I mean, the Monster Manual has a ton. You have all of the homebrew. I mean, you have things from Pathfinder, which carry over. Volo's Guide and Mordecai's Tome of Foams. I mean, Tome of Foes. Tome of Foam. So, yeah. I'll give you the last hint right here.
Which actually, I own both of those as well.
Yeah.
So, like, the monsters that I throw at my parties are numerous.
Yeah. All right. It's in the same family as Doug, the Verbeeg that we just fought.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I know exactly. It's like in the giant family. I can see it. I can literally see its picture in my mind in the Monster Manual.
Okay, describe the monster, and I'll give you the point if you could describe it from the Monster Manual, like in your mind, what it's holding, what it has, what it looks like.
So I am picturing. So it has. Okay. It is a member of the giant family. Mm-hmm. It's got 2 legs, 2 arms, big, like wider body. It's got 2 heads. Both of the heads, if I remember right, have longer hair. Mm-hmm. It's holding like almost like a spiked club in one of its hands, I believe.
Yes.
If I am remembering correctly, it's wearing some sort of like either burgundy or purple like sash or some sort of like clothes it's wearing are of that color region.
You're like, I don't know the name, but damn it if I know what color sash it was wearing.
Like it literally, like I feel like or like navy blue, purple, burgundy, so like one of those darker colors.
Yeah.
In its picture, it's gross. It has like stench, nasty. Yeah.
All
and
right.
I'm gonna be really mad when I can't remember the name.
It is an Etin.
Yes. That's the one. It's exactly the one.
I'm gonna be nice.
Pull it up real
I'm
fast
gonna be nice because you
look
described it. I looked at the monster manual. I mean, you were just. My monster manual is I got a black and white version in front of me, but you definitely got it.
Oh, it's face paint. It has like darker red and blue face paint.
Yeah, but you have the long hair. So I'm gonna give it to you, mostly because I want this to be a close game and not just a blowout.
I appreciate your pity, Corey.
As the DM is fluffing these what is it? Fluffing the rolls, fudging the rolls, not fluffing, fudging the rolls here. So, all right,
don't fluff, Corey.
Don't fluff.
Don't be the fluffer, Corey.
Let me fluff my hair. All right, give it to me. Let's see what you got, Ben.
All right. Let me pull my page back up because I went back to look at the Etten. Here we go. So I'm going to go back to your drow chase here. As you are running through the tunnels, you hear the hoots and the howls of the drow as they tell their companions where you are going. You also hear a low growl. You hear quickened footsteps that you believe you cannot outrun. You hear claws raking along the tunnels as it chases after you. Okay,
well, I'm continuing my guess here. Is it a hook horror?
It's not a hook horror.
Okay. God. So I'm guessing it seems like it is something that the drow have sent after you. Claws
Correct.
On the ground. I'm not too familiar with. Is it a drider?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was a good guess, though.
Okay, give me a hint, because
here's
I'm
your
not.
first hint.
Yeah.
As you quickly turn back to glance over your shoulder, you see two dark eyes and pale white fur.
Pale white fur. This is going to be the one book I've never really looked into a lot of is Out of the Abyss. So this is going to be hard because Underdark is very foreign to me as a DM.
Me too.
I'm gonna have to have that third hint, and then I've
used these monsters before.
Give me that last hint. Let's see where I'm at.
Do you want like an aesthetic hint, or would you prefer? Because I actually did prepare like multiple hints for this one. Would you like an aesthetic hint of what it looks like, or would you like an ability hint that it has?
I think I need aesthetic because ability would probably distract me to something else that has that ability, but looks nothing like what you described, like the hook horror.
As it chases after you on four legs, you notice it's hunched back and its small, sharp teeth.
Is it a Yeti?
No, that would be interesting though if the drow and the Yeti were like, "Let's be homies."
Yeah, it'd be terrible camouflage too. I mean, but then it's still white fur in the Underdark. I'm throwing in the towel here. There's no way. I'm not gonna guess this.
It is a Quaggoth.
Yeah.
Quaggoth.
Nope. Would never guess that. Never even. I feel like I've heard it, but it's never been something. Where's this Q? Right with a Q.
Yep.
250.
It's the only Q monster
ever.
Not ever, but in the monster manual.
Where's Q? Quaggoth. Oh, snap. That thing looks vicious. Yeah. No, I've never even heard of that.
I've used them once in a dungeon that I did in a campaign a while back. Just they're really cool. And also they're like pretty intelligent. Like their intelligence score is low, but like they had tribes and stuff like that. Like
right.
They have a way of communicating. They used to be surface dwellers, but they clashed and were almost forced to extinction when the elves came to like Faerun. That they had to retreat underground and they formed a pact with the drow.
Oh wow, that's interesting. There's so much history when it comes to like the Forgotten Realms that like you just don't get with anything else. I mean, it's almost like it's too much history. I mean, granted, you really only there's so much wealth of knowledge when it comes. It's just such a great setting because it's just been based on years and years and years of just books and canon books at that, not just people who have come in homebrew and doing their own stuff. So, let's talk now about how Levi feels about the characters in the party.
How Levi feels about the characters in the party. So I'll start with Dell. Well, it would be helpful if I didn't knock out my headphones as I plug my computer in. But I'll start with Dell because Dell and Levi have a short history. Mm-hmm. They met when Levi first came to Icewind Dale, which was fairly recently, within the month. They spent some time together in a tavern in Bryn Shander.
Yep.
And they developed what Levi probably believes is a friendship. I don't know that Dell would call it a friendship.
Have you watched the one-on-one with Dell?
I watched most of it, but I need to finish it.
Yeah, because we do talk about Levi, and I would definitely say that Dell looks at Levi as a friend. He's not like he does. I'm not going to say it's hard for me to talk too much about Dell's character, but he definitely looks at Levi as a friend. He looks at all the adventurers as a friend as well. But yeah, it's still interesting to see how he sees you, and mm-hmm. then to know that. But I'm curious. Talk more about that. Like he sees Dell as a friend, but does he see what else does he see about Dell?
So I think what he sees is like, not to be like holier than thou, but that's kind of who Levi is as a person. He sees like this lost soul who like needs to be taught how to be good, and like to not give into the vices, so like maybe not so much drinking and maybe not so much fighting. Not that we know that Dell isn't necessarily the instigator, but he's definitely not guilty in the situation.
Yeah, he's the guy who starts the fights and then just kind of like slinks back and everyone else is fighting. It's very obvious that he was the one who caused it all, but may not be the one who's throwing all the punches. Exactly.
So, yeah, and then of course Levi being lawful good. The stealing is not. It just doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
Well, how much of stealing he's aware of, I don't know. Probably not much.
Yeah.
But the little bit he does know, he is always like, "For shame, for shame, don't."
So we
shouldn't do that.
We had a moment where Blake, I think Dell's, when all the people have been around, Dell has stolen, I think, just one item, and it was in Doug's cave when he was stealing the torches. Liberating is how mm-hmm. he would put it. Right. Seeing a better use for them, he takes them, for future, and if his use of them ends up saving people, then it's justified.
It'll have been for the greater good.
Exactly. So now I don't think it really came up much in session, but I guess when you look in and you get in the mindset of Levi, seeing Dell take a monster's torches is the act of stealing only bad when it's against humanoids? Or
so considering here was my thought process when we were going through that scene. The Verbeeg has no concept of stealing.
Yeah.
Yes. Like he was like, well, I did. And like possession like is a vague concept to him. Does that make sense? He was like, I fought the speaker valiantly, right? And he was like, he died honorably. And we did a fight, but like he didn't see that as murder.
Yeah, right.
Even though he did kill him. And then like he knows that he took the casks of ale, mm-hmm. but like and he's like, well, I have them now, and I want to have them. I would prefer that you not have them.
Yeah.
But like the of stealing is still kind of this vague concept to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so for Levi, having witnessed all of that and seeing Dell liberate the torches, as we're going to say, from the Verbeeg's possession, I think Levi was kind of just like, well, this Verbeeg isn't necessarily like a good creature, TM. So we're going to let this one slide, but we're also going to back pocket this information.
Right.
And we're going to talk to Dell about it later. Because, like, again, not to be holier than thou, but like, Del Nadre, enough with the stealing. Enough. At some point there has to be a limit.
It's gonna be. I like it. I like the lawful good. I mean, none of our characters are evil, but they are
right.
Like even the Ranger and Rosemary, I feel like they're in that. I know Rosemary, I think, is chaotic good, and then I want to say Carson is like lawful or chaotic neutral.
I could see lawful neutral.
Yeah, he's more of a, he's a survivalist, In his mind, he sees, like, we need those torches. It's okay if I take them because I need them, I need them to survive, right? It's not that he doesn't take things that he wants. He takes things that he needs, So, all right, well, let's move on.
I think Levi...
Yep, go on.
Like, Levi very much just sees the good in everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Or he tries to, which is why he gave the Verbeeg a second chance, right? Because everyone deserves a second chance.
Yeah.
They don't deserve third chances. Second chances everybody.
2 strikes and you're out.
Yeah. And then Beta and Rosemary, Levi doesn't know very well. He's just barely met them, had an evening with them in the cave, basically, and then they walked back to town.
Yeah.
So their history isn't very long. He doesn't know much about them. Based on their interactions, they seem like very interesting folks, folks he could be around.
Right.
I think he is impressed with Rosemary's affinity for animals, because Levi is just a golden retriever boy. So like he loves animals and all animals, and like hunting is necessary when you need meat to survive, but like otherwise, like, all animals are good animals. Like to Levi.
Yeah. Like there's not any evil animals because they just don't have that capacity for evil.
Right. And then Bita, I think, is more of an enigma to Levi because he just doesn't know much about him. Right. He's just like, he's this Goliath. He doesn't talk a ton, but when he talks, all of his words seem measured, which is the opposite of Levi. Levi just talks and says things. So I think in terms of Beta, Levi is just like, I wouldn't say confused, but intrigued to learn more.
That's good. It's gonna be, our character dynamics are amazing. Honestly, like you guys, we don't have nobody's the same. Each of you guys have just those very distinctive personalities, and they're gonna just combine with each other so well. Your play styles are going to work very well, and then your role-playing styles are going to work really well together. So I'm very excited to see how it all plays out and how we get into more and more sessions. I mean, there's so much. Icewind Dale has so many. There's a lot of intrigue in the book, and a lot of survival and harsh conditions that are going to force you guys to take those hard decisions. And so you're going to have to level and manage that with your own personality and what your character would do. It's like, it's the good version of it's what my character would do, Right. It's not like it's what my character to do, not to the detriment of the party, but to add just that voice against this bad choice.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. Before we get into the last question, which will be revolving around your secret, a very fun secret that you have.
I've just really unlocked the doozy.
Yes. And I'll tell you later, not now, but I'll hint at it a lot later, but like maybe a month or 2 down the line, I will reveal to you a big part of your secret that would have helped you. But there was something that could have helped you.
It's really okay. So it's really funny that you're, like a month or two down the line, because like, here's the thing, like a month or two down the line, Levi's going to be in the dire straits, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about like a month or two. Us. Yeah. I mean, because we go every other week, so that's like 4 to 6 sessions down the line. I'll reveal this information to you, and I'll do it very.
So depending on the depending on the timeline and how quick we move through time in game, he could very quickly be
exactly. It could be, yeah. I mean, because
a dangerous situation.
When you really look at like the way you have to travel through, when we get to the point, because like we start out, you're into 10 towns, and then you go into Icewind Dale. But travel through the Icewind Dale is not quick, Like walking along 10 towns is kind of quick, but it could take a couple of days to get from one corner, say from, it's not Goodmead. Oh, I have the map right in front of me. I'm dumb. From Dugan's Hole up to Lonelywood. It could take a while to get up there. Or if you were to go from Lonelywood to Caer Konig and decide you wanted to cross the expanse of Icewind Dale, not just go along the paths, like just to hike it across the ice, that could even longer, So, all right. Let's do it. Guess this monster. Let's go. Last round. All right. No, not last round. We have another one after.
Right. I took one off. Let me go back to my DMs from the gang so I can recruit a new monster. Mm-hmm. I took Black Pudding off.
Yeah. So, because I have 2 more to do. I have to take one off, but I already have my monster I'm going to choose. And now that I say that, I probably need to choose another one. But I'm going to do it anyways. But I'm going to do this next one I have written up, and the last one will be just an improv one again. So here we go. Weary from delving deep into the tomb below Cult to end the death curse that is affecting the world, your eyes fall upon an unfinished creation, missing appendages that were not cut off, but simply not there, while others jut out in odd places and odd angles. The creature is clearly undead, if not for the rotting flesh, but simply the inability for any living creature to continue living in such a state.
First guess, Flesh Gold.
No, sir. Good guess though. Good guess. Very much along the lines of what this creature is. So I'll continue this. This is not so much of a hint, but I'm going to continue the description I had. I had too long of a description. So, long, fleshy tubes run out from various parts to connect to machinery that feeds the life force of the souls contained. That feeds it, the life force of the souls contained within.
Machinery now, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, the machinery is not part of the creature, but it helps in describing it, mostly just because of where I'm taking the description of this monster from.
I see.
So there was 2 hints on what book I used right there in that first sentence.
Will you read that again for me? Just the second part.
Just the second part. Long, fleshy tubes run out from various parts of the creature and connect to machinery that feeds it the life force of souls contained within.
Do I have one more hint, or do I not?
Oh, you have 2 hints still. I haven't given you a hint.
Okay,
yet.
I'll take a hint. I'll take.
All right, so Acerak. Oh God, is that how you say Acerak? Some undead lich.
Tell me more about the
ass. Keeps one as a pet in the Tomb of Annihilation.
A campaign I haven't played, so that's solid.
It is the one campaign I have done from start to finish. So when this was suggested to me, I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I know exactly what this is."
Yeah, it makes sense. As of right now, I've got nothing. I'll take that second hint.
It is, and this is not much of a description, but it helps with its mechanics. This creature is a mid-range boss level in its CR. So like its CR is between 8 and 15.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just like something you might really encounter. This is something you go to defeat.
Yeah, I'm like drilling. Now I'm drilling through the undead and their CRs. That I like the undead that I'm aware of.
Just going down 5e tools. Ah, there we go. Oh, that must be it.
No, I'm like going through my brain noggin. Let's see. The fleshy tubes don't make sense for a revenant, and also revenants are CR5.
Mm-hmm.
It also doesn't really make sense for a mummy either.
Mm-hmm.
The fleshy tubes and like gaining energy from souls.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would like, it bends kind of towards a lich, but not really, because like that's just converting yourself, like putting your actual soul into your phylactery and converting yourself into like this nightmarish eternal living being.
Right.
Corey, I don't got it.
You don't got it. It is an atropole. A atropole.
I've never, you know what? I've never heard of this.
It is like this. It's the boss of Tomb of Annihilation, but Asarak could also be the boss of Tomb of Annihilation. They are essentially like unfinished creations of the gods that basically just became undead because they've just never were finished. They just rotted away, and they typically like wander around the plains. And they look like it's terrible to say it, but they look like an unborn, like a malformed fetus, but like with a really big head, and these like weird little arms, and most of the time they don't even have they have like one leg, or if they do, it's like this big, and the monster's like this big.
Yeah,
that big with a tiny little arm.
Oh. Was it introduced in Tomb of Annihilation, or did it come from a different book?
It wasn't the first time that it's come up. I think it was used in 5e, that was the first time it was introduced. Because they have other pictures of it.
Right.
It might, let's see. It actually might have been introduced in...
Looks like it. I'm on the.
Yeah, it's only appeared in Tomb of Annihilation. So yeah, it has only appeared in there. Well, no, here it is. It's in 4th edition, because Tomb of Annihilation is a location that's been talked about before.
Right.
But they've only done an adventure with it in 5th edition. But here it says it's in the Monster Manual of 4th edition. It was in the Book of the Undead, and that's all it showed up. An epic level handbook in I don't know what.
Fair enough.
Was in. That's
This is what I get for only playing 5th edition.
Tomb of Annihilation is great. I don't know, not many people are aware of it, but the book was partially written by the creator of Adventure Time. It's very much like a kind of a fun. They have a lot of jokes in the book. And it came out. It's a great book. It's hex based. Like majority of the book is hex based adventure, kind of crawling around cult, and then you just kind of like the very end of the book moves very quickly. Not so much quickly because it still takes a good chunk, but like you in game time when we were with our party, it was, I'd say 90% of the time was walking around, and then like they went through the dungeon in like the in-game time of maybe 2 days, maybe if that, of wandering around the Tomb of Annihilation, which it's a great book. It really is. Do not give your party members any sort of jumping magical items, because that bit me in the ass when I gave our monk some pants that double.
Yeah, you told us about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and essentially he just and in the final fight, because you fight the Age Bulb over like a lava pit, and then they fought Asarak, and so he basically would like jump up and stun Asarak, and then he would fall, hit the lava, and then fly back up, and then he would just like he'd essentially just jump and fly across each time to punch this guy.
Yeah, he would just like pull a Deku basically.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yes. And he was a Kensai monk, so he could use like his monk weapons were anything he wanted. He decided to be like a throne. He just throw stuff. So, all right. Hit me with
Fun
that.
times.
Hit me with that, Ben.
All right. Let me just run through this really quick, just so I don't like lie or anything. Okay. As you descend deeper and deeper into the dungeon, you hear what sounds like a haunting moan from ahead of you and the flap of leathery wings.
Shit. Haunting moan deeper in the dungeon. Okay, so it's not just the Underdark, it's a dungeon. Leathery wings. Sounds like it's potentially undead or abomination, but like things that have wings. What has a wing? And it's leathery, so like gargoyle is out, obviously. I'm gonna need another hint. I'm gonna need some more descriptions here.
As you enter the large cavern, the flaps you can locate are coming from a large creature of dark. Its skin is dark, perhaps black or navy blue, and has a long, spiky tail.
Oh. Wyvern?
It's not a wyvern. Wyverns are still scaly.
They're still scaly? Okay, so it's still like a leathery skin. Not just on its wings. So it's no drakes, no dragons, no wyverns. Shoot, what is... okay, give me that last hint, because this is going to be... Oh my gosh.
Let me figure out what I'm going to make this hint.
My lead is getting destroyed here. You made me think I was going to win this, and then kind of pulled the big dogs out in the very end. Gosh.
As the creature swoops towards you, it seems to create illusory duplicates of itself that seem to swirl around it in the dark. The duplicates mimic its actions and shift positions to make it impossible to track. Which, to be fair, there aren't very many creatures that have that ability.
I know, but like I cannot think of anything else that does that. In the flying form is what's really catching your head here. Things that are flying, that have leathery wings, because it's not just like it flies; it has to have wings. Okay, it's in a cavern or a dungeon, so preys on adventurers. It's not just the Underdark, so it can just be an overworld kind of monster. Okay, think more vampire, in the realm of vampires. It's not a vampire, obviously, but what else? What kind of... Are there types of ghouls that have wings?
Not that I know of. Most of them just kind of like do their weird floaty thing.
Right. Okay.
Lights and...
I can't guess it. I give up. I throw in the towel. Give me the name of this.
It is a cloaker.
A cloaker? It's right there in the goddamn name. A cloaker.
Now, damn. I wasn't going to say that it looked like a leathery cloak, because that would have been too obvious.
Damn. Yeah. Now I gotta look. Is it
didn't want to say that it looked spray because that's also too obvious.
Is it a monster manual?
It's in the monster manual.
A cloaker. Yeah. I've heard of it.
It's on page 41.
I've never seen it. That's a dark mantle went too far. Cloaker.
Page 41.
Damn, that thing is very vicious looking.
Mm-hmm.
And CR8.
It is CR8. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that you really. I mean, there's so many monsters here, and like, I always throw these like the basic ones at you guys. I really gotta like just really spice it up my DM gaming.
Go ham, dude.
Go ham. All right, well then that would be throwing a Chimera at you, which is only a CR6. What is this?
Chimeras are CR6, yeah, but like because of it's like triple attack ability. It's just the reason why it's CR6 is because it actually has low HP in comparison to a lot.
Right, and the AC 14 armor class is not that. It's pretty easy to hit.
Yeah.
With it being also
yeah,
like,
exactly.
it has a fly, but it's a big creature. So, yeah. Why do I feel like the Chimera should have had acid spray? Anyways,
I probably could have, but like based on the heads it has, it doesn't really make sense. Like maybe if you gave it a snake head instead of a goat's head.
right. All right. Well then,
Homebrew.
let's do the last question, and then we'll get back into the last monster for Guess That Monster. Tell us your secret without revealing. Describe your secret without revealing it.
Okay. I'll put it this way. After a frightening encounter before coming to Icewind Dale,
Mm-hmm.
Levi has been left with a residual effect that he must deal with in a timely manner before it becomes life-threatening.
That's good. There's a lot of description. Yeah. Whew. If my players are listening to this, do not read through the secrets of Icewind Dale. But if you are viewers, feel free to make your guess of what Levi has as his secret. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And
the players who are listening, you didn't hear that.
Yes. Do not burn Levi with fire.
Levi, please don't make him drink any alcohol either.
All right. So guess that monster.
Which is why I'm also nervous for this whole election thing that they're doing, where everybody has to drink. Like I have to find a way to make Levi not drink.
I'm excited for it because I will be drinking mead during stream to make sure that I can properly roleplay the drunk debate official when it comes time for the election debate. And I'm kind of thinking in my mind, I'm thinking of that one school, the parent board teacher election in Family Guy where like Lois is going against this other guy and she's getting all these really hardball questions and the other guy's getting something really simple and easy and dumb. Oh, she's going against her husband. That was that episode. So, all right. I'm gonna let you go first because I still need to determine.
Right. What's the score?
It is 2-3. I am up by 1, but I got those first 3, and I have not been able to get. So if you get me if this one is difficult enough, and I can tell you right now, if it's one of Rachel's, do not choose one of Rachel's.
It's not.
Okay, good, because we've found now that we've seen that those are all.
We wiped the rust monster and the black pudding.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this is so tough.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sitting around your campfire in the dead of night, you hear a loud screech pierce the air, announcing that the hunter has victoriously caught its prey. As you move towards the sound with your torch to get a better look to see if it is close, you see your torchlight reflect off of 2 large eyes and sharp claws.
Is it an owl?
Is that your guess?
No, the first thing I think of is it's an owl, but now, okay, it's two large eyes, screech, and it has wings. Did you describe wings? No, you just described screech. That it's
Did you describe wings?
I don't know.
Not describe wings.
Not describe. Okay. Trying to think of monsters that you might find in the owl. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna get okay. I'm gonna guess an owl, mostly just so I get a hint.
It is not an owl, and I'll also give you for free that it's not a giant owl.
That's good. That's good. Even though you said you did not describe wings, I'm still in my mind. I'm thinking like an owl screeching and picking up a piece of mice. That's my stuck on that.
As you lock eyes with the predator, it screeches once more before standing up on two legs, on its haunches, its massive form slowly reaching its full height before it screeches at you and clacks its beak.
It's an owlbear.
There you go.
Yeah. Woo.
I'm just, you know what? The fact that you're getting these, I'm just going to give myself props for excellent descriptions.
Yeah, it is. It's good. When you said it, I still had my mind on owl. But when you said it stood up on its haunches, I'm like, what can screech? I mean, yeah, that sounds like an owlbear, which is it's funny because you guys will encounter an owlbear fairly soon.
To be fair, it's just a dope monster.
Yeah, they're fun. They're great, and the model they have that just came out with that Deep Cuts or whatever the Nolzur's line is really good. They even have that's one of the models they chose to be part of the I think one of the paint kits as well. Which are fun. I have so many of those models that are just sitting on my desk. Like I have a Kraken and a Hydra and 5 of the dragons and then 2 beholders because I love the beholder.
Very nice.
And one of them was painted. In fact, I'm going to show off my painting skills because it's fun to do so.
Yes, Corey, show us the paint.
Yes, show us the paint. This is my beholder that I painted.
That is really good.
Oh, thank you. So you can see here.
That is really, really good.
So I used to paint. I used to do Warhammer, and of course you got pretty big into painting. But I really enjoyed painting this guy. I made it more purple. I have a couple more than I want to do. I've seen some people do some really good undead ones, but I loved. I painted this right when Game Workshop came up with their blood paint, and it's just it's nice and shiny.
It's very good, yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. You get inspiration.
Corey, I'm impressed.
Inspiration the next time
from somebody who I can't do any art. I can't paint. I can't draw. I can't sculpt. I can't ask me to do art. It's not going to happen. So I'm always impressed with my artistic friends' abilities.
Oh, well. All right. Is it my turn? My turn to describe something, right?
It is your turn.
Okay.
I think you've automatically won already, but we might as well.
I'm gonna give you 2 monsters. So for my first monster,
nah.
No. We're gonna see. We're gonna give you this opportunity. You might be able to, if you can tie it. We'll end it with a tie. I'm not gonna let you beat me, but I'll let you be at the same level as me. Okay, so. After a long, relaxing day of hard work in the sewers below Baldur's Gate, you find yourself back in the storeroom, putting up boxes and boxes. As you are putting boxes, stacking up these crates filled with numerous items that they sell at the tavern above, a bottle rolls off the shelf behind you, crashing on the floor. You turn around and bend down, start sweeping it up, and you place it on the shelf. Your hand kind of just resting there, unmovable.
Like my hand is stuck? is my hand stuck, or is my body stuck?
Your hand is resting on the shelf, unmovable.
Is it a mimic?
It's a mimic.
Because of your affinity for mimics, I knew you would throw it in.
I had to. No matter, I mean, it was going to be in there anyways. It was going to be our bonus monster, but because I did so good, it's going to be the one that allows you to get yourself in there. Okay, now I'm going to choose a random one, and I'm going to pick one from. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do. I've never played any of these. It'd be hard. Okay. Here we go. All right. So. This is gonna be hard. This is gonna be very hard. This is going to be difficult. All right. So, you stand before it, bloodied scratches covering your body, your shield bent in and crushed, parts of it ripped apart, your sword dulled in many parts, chipped in others, and missing the tip. You fought a long and hard battle against this large, hulking creature. Its body lithe, almost as if it has no muscles, yet you know it has strength. Its long tail, jagged, whips around, and its long, needle-like nails click together, anxious to get another taste of your blood.
I have several ideas.
I know. I almost had one. I chose a different one that I first locked on because I was like, it's too easy. You know, the description is the name, but this one I'm gonna stay away from the name, but I can got some good things here.
Large, long nails, tail. You know it's strong, but it doesn't seem to have muscles. That narrows it down to 2. I'll take a hint, and then I should have a solid guess.
Okay, all right. It has insectoid wings.
Well, now you've thrown me for a loop.
The third, I can give you the third hint if you want it. That way you just have it and you make some guesses. I'll give you the third hint and you get 3 guesses. Okay. It is not an insect.
That makes sense. My first thought was a bone devil.
That's it.
Is that like, is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's good.
They have wings?
They have wings. I didn't think they had wings, but I'm looking here at the picture and it has these.
They do have wings. You're right.
I've never seen it with
also,
those.
I flipped from the back to the front and opened right to the right page on the first try. It
there
was
you go.
Really cool.
That is, it's Kismet.
Yeah. So when you said it had a long tail and that like it was strong but it didn't have muscles and long claws, I was like, oh, bone devil. And then you said insectoid wings, and I was like,
that's crazy. I know you don't.
But I didn't realize it had wings.
Yeah, and then when I said it wasn't on insects, you were like, it's probably a bone devil. Let's go back to what you were.
Well, I was still like, but I don't think bone devils have wings, and yet here we are.
Yeah. So,
in all reality, we know you won. You are the superior monster man.
That's good. I'm just glad that we know that. You know, the it all turned out very rights. Yeah, exactly. I get bragging rights because when we played Phasmophobia with Blake, I died, so I don't get bragging rights there. He most definitely won.
No, you definitely get bragging rights here.
I was murdered by that monster. So, well, that was fun. It was exciting. This is a good session. This is a good one-on-one. We went
Yeah,
a lot
for
longer than expected too, but that's fine.
It's 9 p.m.
I know. It's 2 hours. 2 hour stream right here. So, but it's okay.
You know what? You and I, we could just talk. We know that. We just go on and on.
Right. I'm excited for this game, this future. You know, glad I met you, Ben.
Same.
That's for sure. So
Me too, Corey. Me too. Can't believe we met through a Dungeons and Dragons group on Facebook.
Yep. Oh yeah. You know the leader of that Facebook group. I'm not gonna say his name, but the admin of that group was the first DM that I'd been in person. That was my first campaign. That's where I met Rachel. We were in person, and this was before COVID. This was in 2000. It was sometime in 2019. I want to say I was going every Sunday. We were going to this guy's house, and it was fun. I played a kobold grave cleric that had a penchant for absolutely having to bury bodies. I ended up burying a lot of people that were alive. They were bad. They were bandits.
Yeah.
And being a kobold, the DM threw a lot of kobolds at us, and I had a big issue with our people killing the kobolds. I kind of I ended up working out where I got paid in gold for every kobold everyone else killed because I had to have reparations for the death of my people. So, but it was fun though. Like the grave cleric was interesting. But playing a kobold was very interesting because it was a strength based. The cleric is not strength based, but being a war maul, and they have like disadvantage when using heavy weapons. So. And I used
they're small,
I used a heavy weapon, and then you have sunlight sensitivity as well.
You really just gave yourself that disadvantage, huh?
Exactly. Not only was he small, he had sunlight sensitivity, so if we were fighting outdoors, everything was disadvantage. But because he also had pack tactics, I was able to negate that by just making sure I was fighting with my allies. So it was the only way. I would never gain advantage unless we were underground. I would always just have regular or disadvantage. So it was fun. I died once. Oh, I almost died. I lost my arm to some guard drakes, but I was able to get another one built. So it was an interesting time. But
very nice.
Well, let's wrap this up. We are 2 parts of the 5-man team of Everybody's a Mimic. I am your Dungeon Master, Corey. I've been sitting here with Ben, who plays Levi. We had a very good game of Guess That Monster that I graciously allowed Ben to tie with me on. And we do hope that you guys will tune in this upcoming Saturday, March 27th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. For some Saturday morning D&D on Twitch at Everybody's a Mimic, or twitch.tv/Everybody's a Mimic. If you aren't able to make it out on Saturday, you can always find our information or our past sessions and our future sessions, which we uploaded on YouTube at If Everybody's a Mimic on YouTube page. The link for that is something extremely long and confusing. And if you're always interested in learning more about the characters and the people who play them, you can find more information on our website at everybody'samimic.wordpress.com. Until next time, we will see you around. So, bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see ya.